Hi Vicky, how are you doing?
Hi Anuj, very good, thank you. How are you?
Yeah, great. Wish I could see you, but it's good to hear your voice nonetheless.
Likewise.
Right. Vicky, I mean, look, you've played intense characters before. This is definitely no stranger experience to you, but I think when it comes to Chhatrapati Sambhaji Maharaj, it is a historical figure who is entrenched with cultural reverence. Did you feel an added sense of responsibility, especially in today's day and age when historical narratives often spark a conversation?
100%. There was an immense sense of responsibility because, see, what happens is whenever over here in Maharashtra, especially, Chhatrapati Shivaji Maharaj, people around the globe know the glory of Chhatrapati Shivaji Maharaj, but when it comes to his son, Chhatrapati Sambhaji Maharaj, not many people beyond Maharashtra are aware of the glory and the sacrifice of the amazing warrior and king that he was. When you're playing parts of such incredible gravitas, people who know about the history, they don't just treat them as kings or warriors, they treat them as gods.
Mm.
And when it comes to responsibility like this, of course, there's always a sense of that you have to respect that belief, you have to respect the sentiments attached to it. So it does lead to a great sense of responsibility.
Right. I mean, look, Sambhaji Maharaj was not just a warrior, though. He was a poet, a strategist, and a very deeply emotional figure.
Yeah.
So how did you balance that aggression of a warrior with the vulnerability of a leader who was essentially fighting for his people's survival?
I think when you see the film, you will see all his dynamics with his father, with his wife, with his friend, with his people, uh, with his enemy, everything being explored so beautifully that I think all those elements, apart from being a warrior, are also touched upon very beautifully in the film. Um, because it's not just as unidimensional as just a story of a warrior. Like I said, he was also a son, he was also a husband, he was also a friend, he was also a king. And with his father, Chhatrapati Shivaji Maharaj, they used to call them Raitecha Raja. That means king for the people and by the people, which is a philosophy we still follow till date when we're choosing governments, that it is for the people and by the people. So it was somewhere, put into action by these great legends. So all those dynamics of him as a father and a brother and a friend and a husband are all being shown in the film.
I'm very curious to know actually, Vicky, because I feel like these films are very interesting because number one, they teach the youth of today or people like for me, for example, who's an NRI sitting far away from India, about the unsung parts of Indian history. But at the same time, it's kind of almost like that balancing that with entertainment value. So where do you as an artist sort of sit in terms of such contents being presented in mainstream Hindi cinema today?
I feel incredibly privileged to be part of stories like Chhaava, like Sardar Udham or Sam Bahadur, where we explore and celebrate stories of our unsung heroes because they truly, truly can be source of inspiration for the youth today and tomorrow. We don't have to look far away for that kind of an inspiration. India as a nation has been a country which has gone through its fair share of conflicts, be it the Mughals, be it the British Empire, be it many other things. So
Mm.
it has been a country which has given birth to so many incredible kings and warriors who fought and sacrificed for their people. And I think if we bring out stories from our roots and our own rich history, we can really do our bit as artists to kind of tell great stories and at the same time educate, entertain, and inspire the people of today.
Right. No, that's very, very well said. But look, I think Vicky, I find it very interesting because the career that sort of the trajectory that you've had. I mean, I remember you still from Masan and Raman Raghav days, and to see you now really headlining hardcore, almost mainstream commercial stuff, it feels like almost a completely different lifetime. So I think for you as an actor, what has really sort of dictated the your decisions in the roles that you've taken up, and how have you felt like there's been a necessary kind of pressure on you to kind of live up and do more mainstream stuff, or do you kind of, or do you have a wish to revisit that non sort of mainstream parallel, almost parallel cinema art house sort of films as well?
See, the thing is, I always my only quest is to just be part of great stories told by great filmmakers. That's always been my quest, irrespective of the scale of the film, irrespective of whether it's a parallel cinema or it's mainstream cinema. Of course, as an actor, you're always hungry to evolve as an actor and as a human being.
Mm,
You're always hungry to explore different genres, different characters. So that's been my journey as well. All of this could only happen because my by God's grace, the journey has been good. Directors have kept faith. Uh, got some really good encouragement and love from the audience, and that has empowered me and the filmmakers to kind of take those kind of risks, to come with those kind of stories. So in the beginning, of course, when you're starting out, you're really not spoilt with choices. You really don't sit there with 10 scripts on the table and you choose what you want to do. I've just been very lucky to be starting my journey with a film like Masan, which was so deep rooted, which was so sensitive, which was so tender and at the same time hard hitting. Then to go on to Raman Raghav 2.2, 2.0, Manmarziyan, Brazi, Sanju, all these films luckily have been made by such great filmmakers that I got to learn so much. And of
mm,
course, I mean, you always want to keep evolving as an artist.
yeah.
So for me, it's always an honest film or a dishonest film. I really don't demarcate with the genre or differentiate it between like parallel cinema or mainstream cinema. If it's a story which touches my heart, if it's a character which I feel that I have not played this before, if it's a filmmaker that excites me, then I really want to be part of that film.
Okay. And I think obviously since I mean, you've been part of so many historical narratives now, and I think it's a very fascinating discussion, I think one day which I will have with you at leisure. But when it comes to history, I think you've definitely been a very prominent actor who has been a part of that, and not just in recent times. Obviously, even if you look back at a film like Bombay Velvet as well, you know what I mean. And I think it's great to sort of see you be a part of that world. You're also shooting simultaneously for Love and War, which again is a very different world to, let's say, a Chhaava, right? So for you as an artist to really uh, compartmentalize the historical world, but different tones and different socio-economic times. How challenging has that been, especially with Love and War and Chava? Because obviously it's been two really big releases. So how has all of that been for you?
Yeah, I always believe that cinema is a director's medium, as
Mm,
theater is an actor's medium. So for me as an actor, first and foremost, it becomes very important for me to understand the vision of the filmmaker who wants to tell that story. Because I feel the same script can be made into 100 different films by 100 different filmmakers. It's how they visualize it, it's how they have envisioned and wanting to translate it to the audience. So I, as an actor, am a mere medium for them to translate that story and make the audience feel those emotions. So for me, my first step towards prep is always just understanding that vision, sitting with my director, sitting with my writers, and just understanding what went behind writing that script, what went behind visualizing and imagining that kind of a story, and what they are expecting from that character.
mm,
So my first blueprint gets formed with those discussions. And then, of course, every character demands its own kind of prep. Sometimes it's physical, sometimes it's mental, sometimes you don't belong to that world and you want to just inhabit that world. For instance, in Masan, I was not really much aware of the Kashi world from Banaras, their language, their kind of their culture. So I had to spend some time at that place. And same went for Sanju as well, where I had to spend time in Gujarat and understand that language and that culture. But
mm,
sometimes it's more mental and emotional, like for instance in Raman Raghav 2.0, or be it Sardar Udham, where it's
mm,
not about how the person walks or talks, but it's more about their emotional journey and depth. And sometimes it's really physical, be it Uri, where you had to go through military training with the commandos, with the actual armed forces to get that kind of a body language and action training. And be it Chhaava, where you had to learn horse riding, you had to put on a certain kind of muscular weight, you had to learn sword fighting, horse riding, action training, everything goes into it. So then comes, after you understand the vision of the filmmaker, then it's a very specialized prep work for that character that goes into it.
And a quick sneak peek, if you can, on Love and War. I know it's had to keep under wraps, and I understand that.
Sure. No, no, no. So, Love and War, of course, it's too nascent for me to share details about the film in terms of the creators. But of course, it's always a dream for any actor, for any technician to be part of a Bhansali film, and it's a big tick off the bucket list that I'm getting to be a part of Sanjay sir's film. He's a master at work. He's a genius, and he always. Now that I've started working with him, you truly understand why he's made his own, his own space, that you always feel that those films are special. And he's creating some magic with Love and War. And with Ranbir and Alia, it's always, there's a great comfort I share with working with them, be it Sanju or Razi. I had a lovely time working with both, and I'm having a great time working with them now as well.
Oh, amazing. Thank you so much, Vicky, for joining us on Film Shilmy. It's always a pleasure to have you, and hopefully I get to actually see you soon.
I hope so too, Anuj, and I really hope we get to meet each other in person the next time we are doing an interview.
Definitely, man. Thank you. All the best for
Thank you.
Chhaava, Vicky.
Thank you so much, Anuj. Take care.